Hi everyone and welcome to your tarot guidance for the week of April the 18th, 2022. Before I even begin the tarot part, I would just like to mention that we do have a really rare week because this is where a lot of fated forces, but those which have to do with perhaps different things or perhaps different sides of the same coin even, are at work all together in the sky, and that also means that in our lives as well. We have the ongoing meeting of Jupiter and Neptune, which adds the magic, which adds the fated dreamy feeling, which adds this intense psychological heaviness to it. And I am perfectly aware that, a lot of sensitive people who, for, perhaps 3D reasons, are receiving the negative side of this energy, their fears being amplified, not being very happy with themselves, with their situations. An aneretic sun in the sign of Aries can also lead to the feeling of strong frustration. And because this sun also is squared right now, as we speak, by this Pluto, that is almost like a divine frustration, when basically the divine is forcing us to recall our problems, and Pluto square Sun, everything that we do not have that much power or authority over, and it kind of leads into a ball, an inner energetic ball of frustration, of unexpressed anger. And perhaps the universe right now is feeling this anger with us. It is being more than empathic, it is perhaps experiencing this through us because it wants to guide us, lead us by any way possible to change that. To finally, maybe not ultimately or totally, but to do have a little bit of power over that which usually makes us feel totally powerless. A person, a situation, a feeling, an inner configuration, or anything about our lives can make us feel this way, and sometimes quite a lot, especially with whatever is going on in the world right now, because all of us are, symbolically powerless, because non symbolically we are actually very powerful because we can starve anything. Take away your attention, take away your focus, take away your belief, take away your mind's focus, so basically your mindset, and very quickly, whatever that it is, well, it will starve, just like a life form, just like an animal, an organism. When something doesn't receive food, well, it is condemned. And basically, that's the way nature operates. So, where I'm going with this is right now, well, we do have a certain kind of option, power of where it is that we direct our faith onto this Neptune and Jupiter conjunction, and that kind of becomes our reality extremely quickly. But right now, it's not just Jupiter and Neptune. We have Venus making very strong key connections with other power players like Uranus and Mercury, conjunct right now in the sky. Venus in Pisces in exaltation. A very strong spiritual infusion of love, of the heart, of magic, of the Christ consciousness, of basically that which is beautiful to the Creator. So that is multidimensional and boundless in itself, because the Creator finds everything it created beautiful, basically, even that which we cannot. So this is where beauty is literally everywhere, and it can be so bright, so shiny, so stark that it might even give us a moment of blindness when the beauty itself blinds us. But where I'm going with this is Mercury conjunct Uranus. This is one of those rare opportunities when everything speaks to us. The mind, the heart, the soul, even the spirit, even reality in itself, in every small gesture that happens, everything does. It's more than a mirror. It was a mirror until the 12th of April. Now it is downloading instructions. It is where in that mirror you can see your future and how to get to your future. So let us use that opportunity of Mercury conjunct Uranus, the two planets of the mind, Uranus the higher mind, our superior Uranian intelligence, and then we have Mercury the lower mind, the Gemini expression, how we interpret and we navigate in our reality. These two are hugging, so that means that they do give away hints and clues about the future. And in Taurus, quite practically, sometimes even instructions do this and this and this, and you cannot go wrong. So let us see now what the cards might suggest that can play out in our lives this week, because I said there is a lot of fated energy at play. And what I said is just one of them. There is the nodal axis, Scorpio, Taurus, Saturn squaring them. So we are reminded of the lessons of the past and where we have a lot of power. South Node in Scorpio, our excessive power. For example, when someone is a really, really big drama queen, well, that is also a symbol of power, emotional manipulative power, which can be used towards healing, empowerment, beauty, art, self-expression, creativity. Everything, sorry, right now shows us also where our power lies and how we can transform and transmute Scorpio, that which is excessive, into something beautiful, practical, joyful. Taurus, North Node in Taurus, simple yet really, really joyful, pleasurable. Basically, you cannot go wrong with that. So let's see. Oh, we already have a card, the Seven of Swords. Well, that is not the most beautiful expression. So we have the Four of Swords, the Two of Cups, the Page of Wands. And just a couple more clarifiers. Five of Swords reversed, Ten of Wands, and the Star. I should just position the camera so you can see the cards, because they are basically the stars of this show from now onwards. So, first of all, we have the Seven of Swords with the Four of Swords reversed. Well, the mind is restless. This is a very strong representation of the Uranian anxiety that we are experiencing collectively en masse. And not just so us humans, but animals as well. We are experiencing a very strong anxious state, which is almost untranslatable for the human brain, because for some people it's more like a sense of excitedness and anticipation of something really important imminently that's about to happen. For others, it is more like a hopeless, lost state, because all they can see is only chaos and a storm, a hurricane, but not anything else, and this uncertainty that frightens them. While for others, it is just an unexplainable restlessness where the mind turns against the body. It just senses something which is similar to danger, yet it is also not. But of course, from a collective perspective, this Seven of Swords does represent the power of the media. So this is where, again, we will not be able to trust absolutely anything, because, the stars and the astrological dances and energies do not take sides. When something is pleasant, when something is empowering, when work promises success, well, you can imagine that the same energy goes for criminals. It goes for thieves, for mafia, for call it whatever you want. So they are successful as well because they do have the Saturnian element, the time and work and effort and intent invested. So that's why when it's good for everyone, it's good for them as well, and they can truly ruin the experience for a lot of people. But this does represent the media and this Four of Swords reversed, that it's really, really heavy. They are really, really stirring people up, but so much so that it's really turning into a truly anxious and depressive state for the mass, after all, not necessarily for the individual, because every single individual copes their own way. But when one individual, when all individuals are called to be citizens, that is a function that everyone has, more or less. Well, when we embody that citizen, when we embody our relation, who we are with the authority, bank, institution, government, mayor's office, whatever, well, when we embody that, that is not very positive. That is not a very positive, confident, trustful citizen. That is a defeated and restless and frightened and ready to act citizen. So this is what I'm actually trying to say. Even if all of us, as individuals, we would be in the Zen part of this energy, when it is that we are called to be citizens, we cannot be the Zen part of the energy. So this card just tells us, these two cards, that this anxious state and this spider sense that is tingling but it's bothering us deeply, it is just warning us not to trust anything other than the inner guidance, the inner mechanism. Because if there was a time when information is heavily toxic, including physical, it makes you sick physically, that moment is now. It wasn't the way, let's say in 2021 and 2020, because there was a lot of empowerment in Gemini energy, the North Node exalted in Gemini, that acted like a divine protection. That meant that the half-truth and the illusion may only be out there if the truth is out there as well. Gemini, one and the other. But now it's Taurus and Scorpio. Scorpio is capable of anything. So right now we can only truly trust our souls and our inner guidance. And this is the larger message, if that makes sense. And individually speaking, well, it does mean through the Seven of Swords that the mind is supposed to be a little bit restless, a little bit frightened right now. But don't judge the book by its cover, in the sense that don't judge the entirety of your being just by your mind and the way your mind makes you feel. I apologize. And this is what the Four of Swords reversed also means, that this isn't just one of those moments when we just know it's the Schumann resonance and that things are shifting and changing and stuff like that, and that has side effects. This is where this has actions, and concrete actions in our life. This is where for a lot of people, especially those who work on the internet or those who are creators, if someone stole your work, this week you might get your justice, but maybe not delivered like this yet. Maybe it's just the beginning. Then we have the Two of Cups and the Page of Wands. This is a really, really positive energy for some people, because the Two of Cups is a perfect representation of an exalted Piscean Venus, Venus in exaltation. For a lot of people, this is where the Page of Wands, the inner child finally meets the playmate. So this is gonna turn into a very, very Piscean and Aries-like love story, if that makes sense, where these two partners, and I hope that if you're alone, if you're single and looking, if you're open to love, that I really hope that it's you and this partner don't even know what to do first. The more mystical and emotional side of the love story, or the more sensual one, because you just can't get enough of one another, and this all seems like a big dream, and both of you know it. This isn't the naive, stupid when it's a karmic trap and you fall for it, you also know that it's an illusion, but you allow the playfulness. You allow yourself to indulge in the illusion of the romantic expression of Venus. That is sacred illusion. That is the sacred part of what spiritualists call the Maya. So the Five of Swords reversed, this Mercury and Uranus may probably represent for a lot of us a eureka and triumph moment, but with something that felt like a lost cause. Something that we felt like we cannot figure out in a million years. We just don't know the answer to that, or even if we might have the information and let's say even the skill, whatever it is that we need breakthrough with, it is something that just simply stops us, even if we have the skill, even if we can do it, even if we have the can do attitude. Something about a big breakthrough that you wanted to accomplish was simply self-defeating. There was no victory, because maybe the victory itself, the final goal, would be like defeating the ideal. For example, if someone wanted to be like a really famous chef, and the way they envisaged being famous, like cooking all day every day and doing just that, well, on their journey towards becoming a famous chef, they found out that you are also going to be on TV, newspapers, work with the public and stuff like that. And maybe that was a huge eye opener, and they said, no, 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 no. I'm going to be a famous chef, but in my own way, and that the only way I can do that is if I open up a restaurant. So that might be a Five of Swords reversed moment, when we finally understand the big message of the universe, why success wasn't offered to us the way we intended, the way we planned, the way we set out on the journey. And the Ten of Wands. This is where we also have a lot of spiritual responsibility. This is where the cross, the symbolic, and especially that this is Easter season, the cross of the Christ, the karmic burden. This is where the burden is still there. So maybe the biggest illusion that we're living right now is that the burden is not necessarily there anymore because we shed it off. We might have shed off family, we might have shed off our old beliefs, our old routines, our own customs, our own naivety, our own foolishness. But in truth, the burden, the spiritual burden of morality, responsibility, what you're doing with your life, with your time, what you're projecting onto other people, what you're giving the world morally, what you're giving to your mother, the earth, morally, and through your actions and through what you embody, what you speak, what you think, what you feel. Well, that hasn't gone anywhere. That's still there, but your muscles are so very strong that which weighed you down once is now like laughable. You don't even feel the burden. So basically, this is when the Ten of Wands is combined with the Star card. The future is pulling you so quickly, and right now, anxiety is where the future is pulling your mind there. It's almost like forcing you to quantum leap into a role, a persona, an identity, something that you are becoming. It almost like forces you to be reborn or born or resurrected or whatever prematurely. There was a time when I said the future is pulling us, but it's not okay to go there. It is not healthy, it is not safe. We may not live in the future because we have to live in the present. There was also a time when I said, well, ultimately, this is a moment when we have to truly go back into the past and understand things and feel and rethink and reevaluate the past. So when we focus on a certain timeline, it has an importance and wisdom to it. The norm is the eternal present, which should be pleasant as well. So the norm is the present, because that's where the power is, that's where we are embodied, that's where the physical body is. So where the present is and how the present is. That is where we have our octopus's tentacles, our magical intention setting tools, if you know what I mean. But there is a moment, a magical moment in the sky when this very, very amazingly Aquarian Saturn, this upgraded, almost touched by Uranus kind of Saturn, well, this wants us to dwell a little bit also in the future, because right now it is just showing us what's coming. So right now it wants us to be excited, and the more excited we are, not necessarily for the promise itself, for the opportunities to experience our lives in a different way that await us in the close future, that make the Ten of Wands feel almost reversed, almost like not even a burden whatsoever, like pleasure. This is where the Ten of Wands, the responsibility, the duty, the work that we have to complete, the lived experience, being strong, fighting for our causes, not backing away. The Ten of Wands is heavy, the Ten of Wands is a big, big deal. Now this seems like play, it seems like we want to do it, never ever stop. So this is what the sky and this week is promising us as an outlook, or as a prophecy, or as simply practical information, because for a lot of people the star card is a contract, maybe something being promised, something being crystallized. But at the same time, we must not forget about this Two of Cups, because for a lot of people it will be this Two of Cups, that partner, that contract, that lover, that intimate partner, that coming out of the closet moment, or something really brave ultimately, and a little bit foolish, but a little bit magical Venusian that you do, is gonna be what leads to this not feeling burden anymore at all, actually taking pride of all that you have done in the past. So this is quite an important week, and ultimately this World card and the hardship no longer being hardship anymore should be expressed on the world stage as well, to be honest. So maybe something that is burdening us heavily in the present moment, maybe this week turns into something else, as in we receive a new perspective of it. But anyway, this week is also extremely magical because we are in pre-eclipse season. The eclipse is on the 30th of April of Taurus solar eclipse, which does represent a really, really strong resurrection, rebirth, along with a reset of our value systems, of our stability, of the earth that we walk on, both literally and symbolically. Our income, our food, our nurture. So a lot is happening already, and pre-eclipse period, for very, very lucky people, they get it in advance. For those who are almost kissed, caressed, honored by the universe, pre-eclipse period, well, they already have their cake and are eating it. For others, the universe just tells us, prepare for this, because right now the change is serious, especially in fixed signs. So thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to support my work, you can donate in the PayPal link in the description below. And with this being said, I wish everyone a truly magical and wonderful week. Until next time, bye for now.